Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a otra clase Satchel Class. Soy Mr. Castrillon, and today we are going to be talking about a very important topic, occupations or las profesiones. The main title, though, is Me gustaría ser, because by the end of the lesson, we're going to be able to actually say what we would like to do, what we would like to be in terms of a profession. So today's lesson is going to be full of lots of words and new vocab that I would like to take note of. I would like you to write down or take a picture with your phone of the screen so you can actually revise it on your own time. But remember that you can actually come back to these lessons. You can revise these lessons again as many times as you want. Okay, let's have a look at our objectives today. Hoy vamos a repasar las diferentes profesiones. Vamos a aprender sobre las diferentes profesiones y vamos a expresar qué profesión nos gustaría practicar. So it's all about careers and occupations and professions, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some professions, some occupations, and I'm going to describe each one of those ones in Spanish, okay? Feel free to take note of all of the new words that you're going to be seeing today, because today we have lots of new words. La maestra, el maestro. I want you to take notice as well that I'm going to be using the masculine and the feminine most of the time. La maestra trabaja en una escuela. Enseña a los niños. Otras palabras son el profesor, la profesora. So as you can see, lots of new words, and I hope you can take note of the verbs, particularly like trabaja, enseña. Okay, I won't translate them today because I would like you to get the challenge solved at home. That means that you can take notes of these words and you find them in your own time. Let's see now our next occupation. El chofer, la chofer. Este chofer maneja un autobús en Guatemala. Otros choferes conducen taxis o trenes. Okay, so can you identify the verbs? Can you get or guess what they mean? Good. Next one. El obrero, la obrera. Estas obreras trabajan en una fábrica de cigarros en Honduras. Muchos obreros y obreras trabajan largas horas al día. Once again, I won't be translating today, but I would like you to take the challenge and copy down what we are looking at today, what we are learning, and then, of course, feel free to add or learn or research. El ama de casa. El ama de casa trabaja en casa. Limpia la casa, lava la ropa, cocina y cuida a los hijos. In fact, this is one of the hardest jobs of all, and guess what? These wonderful people don't get paid what they deserve. And I'm sure you know what this person is or who this person is. Once again, take notes, write down those words that you don't know. See that I'm repeating certain words here now. Trabaja. What do you reckon that means? If you don't know, write it down and search on Google or use your dictionary, and it's going to be a good one to know. La mesera, el mesero. Una mesera trabaja en un restaurante. Atiende las mesas y les sirve comida a los clientes. Very well done. Once again, I'm repeating the words over and over again. Trabaja. Very good word to know. El médico, la médica. Este médico trabaja en su consultorio. Los médicos examinan a los enfermos y recetan medicinas. Really important is that you look at the word consultorio. Once again, I'm not going to translate it, but you can actually guess by the context, by the picture itself, what that word means. El doctor, la doctora. Una doctora examina a la paciente. 50% de los doctores en Cuba son mujeres. Now, you might be wondering what the difference is between this one and the previous one. there isn't any difference whatsoever other than the word. So we can say la doctora, el doctor, or el médico. So there is no difference. So it is up to you where you want to use médico, doctor, or médica, doctora. La enfermera, el enfermero. Una enfermera trabaja en un hospital, una clínica o en el consultorio de un médico. Las enfermeras cuidan a los enfermos. El abogado, la abogada. El abogado trabaja en la corte, defiende a los acusados. Los abogados trabajan largas horas. Once again, I'm using this word, trabaja. So can you identify what it means, what it actually, or how we are using it? By the end of the lesson, what I will try to do then, I will give you a little bit of a hint as to what the word means in Spanish. And I'm sure by the end of the lesson, you will know exactly what it means. El juez, la juez. Un juez trabaja en la corte. Decide los casos criminales. Now, look at the fact that I'm using un juez or el juez, la juez. This is an interesting word because we can actually say jueza, but for some reason we don't tend to use it that much. So the best thing to do is to keep the word as it is, juez. And then you can say el if you're talking about a female judge, or la juez if you're talking about a female judge. La peluquera, el peluquero. Esta peluquera le seca el pelo a su cliente. Una peluquera trabaja en una peluquería y corta el pelo. Now, a couple of things that I need you to understand here is that when you have QU, like in this case, which I'm going to underline for you, when you have this here, remember that the sound is going to be k, la peluquera. Now, every time that you see Q, you'll see Q followed by a U. You'll never see Q by itself with another letter. So say, for instance, I'm just going to write some words here so you can see what I mean by that. So for example, I have the word queso. You won't see this written as queso like that. Why? Because it's wrong. Another word that you might come across is quien, que, quiero, and so on. All of these words, by the way, are QU. And the sound is going to be like K, queso, quien, que, quiero. Okay? Don't forget that, because many students tend to make a very silly mistake of leaving out the U. El policía. La policía protege a la ciudadanía. Un policía detiene a los sospechosos y pone multas de tráfico. Now, these are 3 Mexican police officers. Now, there is another word that we might use in Spanish that I'm going to add here, which is the following one. Un agente de policía. O una agente de policía. Okay. Of course, I'm sure you can identify which one is the masculine and which one is the feminine. So if you don't want to say un policía or una policía, you can say un agente, una agente, and that is going to improve the way how you're using Spanish as a language. El terapeuta, la terapeuta. Este terapeuta trabaja con un paciente. El terapeuta es especialista en lesiones del cuerpo. Now, as you can see, I'm using terapeuta with A at the end. So terapeuta is one of those words, very rare case of a word where you don't have to use an O at the end. You wouldn't say el terapeuto. Why not? Because the origin of the word makes us use only A at the end. El terapeuta, la terapeuta. So if you want to be a therapist, well, all you can say is, all you need to say is una terapeuta. El plomero. Un plomero trabaja en casas y edificios. Repara la cañería de las casas. Lots of new words here. Very important, by the way, if you are talking about occupations. Remember that the more you use strange or different or kind of unique words, the more chances you have to improve your grades. Now, cañería is a word that we use a lot in Spanish when we're talking about houses and pipes and everything else. And of course, feel free to copy down that word because you might use it at some point for a written exercise. El piloto, la piloto. Este piloto español trabaja para la línea aérea Iberia. Piloto pilotea un avión. El veterinario, la veterinaria. Una veterinaria cuida a los animales enfermos. Los veterinarios son muy pacientes y profesionales. Now, I know many people who would love to become a vet, and it's a wonderful occupation. So remember that you are basically working with animals, usually ill ones. And you have to have a lot of patience. El, la electricista. Este electricista trabaja en un edificio. Los electricistas trabajan con cables eléctricos. Esta profesión es muy riesgosa. Lots of new words here, also some familiar ones, but of course, electricista is very transparent. It is easy to know what it means, an electrician. And also, look at, I'm saying el, la. Similar case to el terapeuta, la terapeuta. Electricista is another one of those words that does not require dio at the end to show masculine. All you need to do is el, or say el electricista. El dependiente, la dependiente. Same as before, all we need to do is el, la. Dependiente remains exactly the same. Esta mujer trabaja de dependienta en una tienda de videos. El mecánico. Esos mecánicos trabajan en un taller de reparaciones. Reparan un auto. ¿Cuánto gana un mecánico? Look at this. I'm actually asking a question. So I want you to think about how much money they make. And then, of course, that's going to help you remembering numbers, particularly big numbers that you can use when you're doing your speaking exam or when you're doing a speaking test, because that shows that you know a lot. Couple of things here. Although we don't say la mecánica, right? There's nothing wrong with girls doing or kind of having a career in mechanics, as in like car mechanics. El bombero. Los bomberos apagan incendios. Es un trabajo peligroso. Peligroso is a very interesting word because it actually is a lot. It appears a lot in many, many texts. So that one, you want to write it down. And I would like you to research it. I want you to go and find out what it means. But by the context of the job, you can tell or you can clearly say why or what it means. Es un trabajo peligroso. La cajera, el cajero. Los cajeros reciben dinero y atienden a los clientes en los supermercados. Los cajeros trabajan largas horas. Good. So we have lots of occupations here. Lots of things that you can actually do throughout your life. I've done some of those jobs myself. Yo he sido un mesero. He sido un maestro y soy un maestro. He sido un gerente. There are other professions that we didn't actually add today, that we didn't, or I didn't include. So feel free to find out how to say these ones, like manager, how to say a football coach, or how to say, for instance, a dentist, which is not in this list. It doesn't mean that they are not important. It simply means that there are so many occupations out there that you can still research and try and find out. So what I would like you to do is I want you to tell me what you'd like to be. Now, here I have kind of a small map: green, amber, red. Green being very easy, red being hard. Why? Because I'm putting bits to my sentence to make it sound really good. So what I'm going to do is I want you to tell me 5 professions that you'd like to be. So we have all that list there. Feel free to add many more to it. And then we have, of course, me gustaria at the very end, beginning, sorry, which means I would like to be a or an. Now, the fact that I put una means that you have to balance your sentence or your article in this case, una, with the word depending on masculine or feminine. So if it is masculine, you would say un. If it is feminine, you would say una. So after you've done that, after you've said what you'd like to be, or after you've written down what you'd like to be, then I want you to tell me why you want to be that. Now I have 8 adjectives, and I made it very simple for you to kind of use them. But feel free to add many more. And also always ask your teachers, how can I improve this red section here? Because you could easily say, I'm going to say a sentence in Spanish, in English. I would like to be a lawyer because I can help people. So how would you say that in Spanish? Always research and ask your teachers. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to make as many sentences as you can, telling me why you want to be what you would like to be. Okay, so off you go. 3 minutes for it. I'm back. So I hope you've managed to do some sentences, simple ones out of all these lists that we have here. Just in case, I'm going to translate the red section. Arriesgado, risky. Bien pagado, well paid. Exitoso, successful. gratificante, rewarding, interesante, interesting, retador, challenging, satisfactorio, satisfying, sencillo, easy or simple. So, as I said before, this is a very short list of all the things that you can say, why you would like to do, what you would like to do. Okay? Muy bien. You revised different occupations in Spanish. You read a short description of each occupation, and finally, you learned how to say you would like to do as a profession and why. So, a couple of things before I go. Come back to the lesson, check the video again, look at all the new words that I used today in terms of occupation, and then think what you'd like to do. There are many occupations that I didn't include in today's list, so feel free to come back to it and write down your own list of occupations and things that you'd like to do. In the meantime, muchos éxitos, and I hope I'll see you very soon. Hasta pronto.